50994 or visit everythingbrakes.com.
Coming up on First at 4, we have an update on warning siren issues in some Kentucky counties. And a thief leaves an apology note after he steals a Tennessee man's Jeep.
And things get stormy for some tonight. We track the rumblers moving in as our First Alert Weather Day continues, as First at 4 itself continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Storms are moving into Kentucky from the north, but will they cause many issues tonight in the mountains? Meteorologist Evan Hatter has more on what to expect on this First Alert Weather Day. Evan.
Yes, Steve, I think we still have the possibility for damaging winds and for heavy rain. Those are going to be our number 1 and number 2 threats as we head through the evening hours tonight. We already have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the northern half of the area until 9 o'clock. There you see it, basically north of a line from Rockcastle, Jackson, Owsley, Breathitt, Knott, Floyd, and Pike counties and on to the north in that watch until 9 o'clock. Just because you're not in the watch doesn't mean you can't see some stronger storms later. The watch coincides roughly with where the slight risk for severe weather is, the level 2 threat. Everybody else has a smaller but still existing threat for strong to severe storms. In the mountains, we have no issues right now, but just north of I-64, you know anybody over there in parts of Carter and Greenup counties, they're dealing with a severe thunderstorm right now. And essentially what's happening, these storms are going up and moving right off to the east while slowly dipping to the south along with that front. The motion of these storms tells me we're going to have to watch for some high water issues, at least local high water issues tonight. Mid and upper 80s, we've got the juicy weather in place. We've got plenty of storm fuel with those clouds trying to blossom up into showers and storms. How about this? Middle and upper 80s for most of the region right now. Look at 88 Prestonsburg, 88 Manchester, 88 in Somerset. Factor in the dew points. Right now in Somerset, it's 88 with a dew point of 77. You might as well just jump in Lake Cumberland because that's what it's going to feel like out there when you walk outside into that environment. So we have plenty of instability, just don't have that trigger yet. In the next 12 hours, storms are with us as we slowly fall into the low 70s for lows tonight. Steve, I'll track the latest in a few minutes.
All right, Evan, thank you. Sirens are often used to warn people of tornadoes or severe weather. We've heard that some sirens have not been working properly in several Kentucky counties recently. We have also heard from officials who say they are working to ensure all sirens are in working order. WYFT's Phil Pendleton spoke to officials in several counties and has more from Garrett County.
Emergency management officials in Jessamine County, Madison County, here in Garrett County, likely other places, all talking about the same thing. The latest round of severe weather has them realizing that the emergency warning system may need some serious upgrades. It could be that they need to add new sirens. Maybe entire sirens need to be replaced, or maybe simply a battery needs to be upgraded. Emergency management officials are working to make sure that all outdoor sirens are working and even applying for grants to cover more of the county. The sirens are expensive. Maintenance is even more costly. Judge Executive Chris Elliman says when he took office, he and the emergency management director noticed the system needed some work. He said the sirens are easy to overlook when they're in a period of time when severe weather may not be a major concern.
Obviously, if we don't have active weather and we're not having to use them, then sometimes they get pushed to the side where maybe we forget about them and don't have a focus on them. But with the weather changing like it is, it's brought attention to all of us.
And those batteries can be very expensive. In fact, the judge executive here tells me that just one battery for one of these sirens in the water tower just here above me can cost as much as $400. Garrett County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Garrett emergency officials say outdoor sirens are only designed to warn people who are outside, and say people inside need to have weather alert radios or have access to broadcast warnings to stay notified. As the murder investigation for Floyd County woman Amber Spradlin nears the 1-month mark, officials are asking the community for their cooperation. Kentucky State Police released a statement yesterday saying they have received a lot of help and tips from the community regarding the case, but troopers urge those reaching out to be responsible by reporting only factual information, since every tip is investigated and every investigation adds time to the search for justice.
Of course, we have all the faith in the state police to do their investigation and to do their jobs well, but at the same time, knowing that, you know, how she passed and that the person or people who did that are still living their lives is a tough pill to swallow right now.
Spradlin's family has asked that the internet sleuthing, theories, and community conspiracies born from the case be put on the back burner as they work with investigators to see the case closed. Hear more from them coming up tonight at 6. July is National Vehicle Theft Prevention Month. Officials with AAA say they have seen an increase in vehicle thefts from 2021 to 22. They say there are some steps you should take to protect yourself from a potential theft, like parking in a well-lit area or garage, or considering the purchase of your own warning devices or tracking systems.
We're looking at theft costing vehicle owners in the neighborhood of $8 billion a year. So it's certainly worth a small upfront investment.
Lori Weaver Hawkins with AAA says if you do unfortunately end up being the victim of a property crime like this, you need to file a police report and claim with your insurance company as soon as possible. Call it a guilty conscience or a plea for forgiveness, but a thief left a note at the spot where a farmer in Tazewell, Tennessee had his Jeep parked. Now it's gone, but there's still hope it'll be returned. Sam Luther has the story from Claiborne County.
Couldn't really do nothing but laugh, if I'm being honest.
Head-scratching moments on Sunday when Blake Middleton went out to his farm and saw his Jeep was missing, but a note in his toolbox was left behind.
An honest thief, if there's such thing, I guess he'd probably be the closest you could get to one.
In the note, the person admits to taking the Jeep, saying their wife just died and they're on drugs, while drawing a frowny face.
And then even drew, did you see the little needle on it?
The note goes on to say that they'll bring the Jeep back once they're sober, and they hope Middleton can forgive them, which is something he's not quite ready to do yet.
I doubt it. I'm not that kind of person.
Frustration because this 86 Jeep served a real purpose on this cattle farm.
Well, just more or less to run around up here and check cattle with, fix fences with, so you ain't got to drive your nice truck around, you know, when it gets muddy, wet, or whatever.
Now in a bind, Middleton is skeptical his Jeep is returned safely, despite what the note promises.
I'm going to say slim to none, honestly.
That note admittedly making this farmer laugh, but there's also a deeper-rooted frustration with this bold yet honest theft.
I mean, I give anybody anything, help anybody do whatever they need done, but I can't stand a thief.
In Claiborne County, Sam Luther, WVLT News.
If the thief does return the Jeep, we'll let you know on our website, WYMT.com. Despite a drop in gasoline demand in the days after July 4th, prices at the pump inched 3 cents higher during the past week. While lower gas demand typically pushes pump prices lower, the main cause for the increase is higher oil prices, which jumped from more than $60 a barrel to more than $70. Thursday's national average at $3.55 a gallon is 3 cents more than a month ago, but more than $1 less than a year ago. Here in Kentucky, we found the statewide average has increased to $3.22. In Perry County, gas prices are averaging below the state at $3.19, while in neighboring Knott County, we found the average is above the state average at $3.53. A study by the Bureau of Labor Statistics finds a key U.S. inflation gauge dropped to its lowest level in nearly 3 years last month. The Producer Price Index tracks the average change in prices that businesses pay to suppliers, and while wholesale inflation rose by 1% for the 12 months ending in June, the report shows the Producer Price Index has dropped for 12 consecutive months. The value of office space is plummeting in the era of remote work, according to a report out today. It's from McKinsey Global Institute and looks at 9 cities with some of the busiest economies in the world. Among them are New York, San Francisco, and Houston. It predicts they'll see an $800 billion decrease in the worth of office buildings by 2030 as vacancies rise and rents decline. It says 2/3 of workers now have remote or hybrid positions, and that structure is likely here to stay. Coming up as